I never thought moving to New Orleans would be anything other than exciting. I mean, the city has this charm, right? Old streets, balconies with iron railings, jazz music drifting through the night, the smell of coffee and beignets everywhere. I had rented a small historic townhouse in the French Quarter. When I first walked in, the floors creaked a little, the windows rattled in the evening breeze, and I remember thinking, this is perfect. Cozy, old-world charm, character, you know, that kind of place you see in photos online and think, yeah, this is exactly what I want. The first few days were normal, pleasant even. I unpacked, explored the nearby streets, had some coffee, tried to meet neighbors. At night, there was this stillness that I liked. It felt safe. But then the first hint of something off happened on night 3. Around 1:45 a.m., I woke up to a faint whispering. I couldn't make out the words, but it sounded like two voices arguing quietly, overlapping, almost like they were fighting. I shrugged it off, told myself maybe it was the wind, or people outside. But the whispering continued, night after night, growing clearer, sharper. By the end of the first week, it became more obvious. Cold spots would appear randomly in rooms. I'd walk from the kitchen to the living room and suddenly feel a chill sweep past me, like someone had just brushed against my arm. And I could hear footsteps. Not one set, but two. They moved differently, one fast, light, almost playful, and the other heavy, dragging, deliberate, like it didn't want to be noticed but couldn't stop itself. And the whispering, the whispering was constant. The voices would argue, sometimes shout, sometimes whisper sweetly, like they were taunting each other while I was stuck in the middle. One night, at 2:58 a.m., I woke to a loud crash in the living room. I froze, my heart racing. I grabbed my flashlight, turned it on, and the light caught something that made me stumble back. Shadows were moving on their own, twisting around each other, almost like they were fighting. And I swear I could hear words. One voice screaming, "Get out!" while the other hissed, "They belong to me!" I didn't know who they were, but I felt like it included me. The next few nights escalated. Objects would fly across the room, sometimes books, sometimes kitchen knives. I started keeping a notebook to track everything. 2 sets of fingerprints would appear on mirrors. Cold spots would slam against me from opposite directions. It was like the entities were using the house to fight, and I was just stuck in the middle, a helpless spectator. One particularly bad night, I woke to laughter. 2 types. One was soft, high-pitched, playful almost, like it was mocking me, and the other low, guttural, terrifying. I followed the sounds to the hallway, flashlight trembling in my hand, and saw shadows moving in a kind of dance. No, a fight. One shadow slammed into the wall, the other leapt back and shrieked. And then the whispering started again, louder this time. "You will stay," one screamed. "No, they are mine," the other hissed. It got worse. I couldn't sleep. Every night became a battle of the unseen, and I could feel the energy in the house shifting violently. Sometimes my bed would shake violently as if both entities were tugging at the corners. Doors slammed open and shut on their own. And in the middle of it, the whispers became almost coherent. Names I didn't know. Warnings I couldn't understand. And every now and then, I would hear a soft sigh, almost like one of them regretting the fight, but it was drowned out immediately by the other's rage. I tried leaving the house during the day. Everything seemed normal. Birds chirped outside. Sunlight streamed in. Neighbors waved as I passed. But at night, it was different. At night, the entities returned. They were always fighting, always arguing. And I realized something. The more they fought, the more they, noticed me. They wanted me to see them, to be aware. And sometimes, I think they were using me as a kind of pawn in their fight. One night, around 3:03 a.m., I woke up to screaming. Not human screaming. 2 voices, overlapping, echoing, bouncing off every wall. I saw objects levitate. Chairs, picture frames, even the curtains swaying violently as if something invisible was moving through them. And then, I saw the shadows in the corner of my bedroom, facing each other, hands, or whatever they had, in a kind of violent lock, and I felt myself being pulled toward them, my body shaking, cold pressing in from every side. I screamed and ran into the hallway, my flashlight falling to the floor. The shadows collided, and I swear I could feel a shockwave hit me like a physical force. After that night, I started recording everything. Audio, video, anything. The footage, it's unexplainable. Shadows moving on their own, objects sliding across floors with no one touching them, and the whispers. Two voices arguing, screaming, hissing, sometimes quiet, sometimes deafening. Sometimes they would mimic me, repeat my own words in distorted voices, like they were trying to understand me, or scare me, or both. I stayed as long as I could, but eventually, I had to leave. I packed my things, left during the day, and locked the door behind me. But even now, months later, when I think of that townhouse, I can still hear the whispers in my head. Sometimes at night, I swear I can feel one entity on my left, one on my right, still fighting, still arguing, and I remember the one thing they whispered the most. They can't leave, not yet. I don't know if the townhouse is still standing. I don't know if the entities are still there, or if they followed me, or if they're still fighting somewhere else, but I know this, some places, some spirits, they never forget. And sometimes, if you're unlucky, they notice you too. Make sure to subscribe to AI Storytelling YTS for more creepy, true horror stories. Stay safe, and keep your lights on.